Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Good morning, good people. Y'all got me cracking up right now. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. Streaming live on YouTube. Hold on, man. I messed up my intro. Nah, not you, Akoye. So look, ladies and gentlemen, I don't normally get thrown off. We got Akoye Media joining us, so make sure y'all stick around for that, of course, right? It's Wednesday. We're going to be talking about this big matchup, Bills, Cowboys, diving into the Cowboys defense against the Bills offense. Plus, we're going to review the Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles. Man, y'all got me all messed up. Let me tell you why y'all got me messed up. Turn the music off. Let me tell y'all why y'all got me messed up, man. I usually don't allow the shenanigans before the show to get to me. But, so you know we late. I got Akoye in the back. Y'all can't hear him right now, but I'm talking to him. I'm talking to y'all. Got Akoye in the back, and we late. It happens sometimes. It is what it is. Y'all gonna get a fire show. However, somebody in the chat says Sky's late because he's counting his waves and cleaning his butters. Counting his waves and cleaning his butters. I can't stand y'all. But I love y'all at the same time. What's good, Bob Squad?
Bob Squad!
Fam, I was on a streak. I don't think I've ever not, have my intro. It's a thing, right? It's a routine. It's boom, I hit him with all of that and bring the energy. But y'all cracked me, man. Y'all cracked me for the first time in like 2 years. Y'all cracked me, but it is what it is. Welcome to the show. We got a good one lined up for y'all. We got a twofer. We got a twofer. We're going to get some film from the Eagles-Cowboys game, the defense, because we ain't talked about them yet. And we're going to get some film with the Buffalo Bills and their offense and what makes Josh Allen challenging and what I think the Cowboys can do to make all the Bills fans out there say, Josh Allen got to chill. Josh Allen got to chill. So we're going to talk about all that. But before we do that, Cowboys Nation, before we get into that, man, no, we don't want that. What are we doing here? We want this one. Yesterday, here's the beauty of going on a winning streak, is that the Cowboys, they put out the sounds of the sideline. And, man, there's some moments in that sounds of the sideline. One of my favorite moments every week is listening to what Osa got to say, because Osa's hilarious. He's a star of sounds of the sideline. I hit Osa up and said, hey, dog, you got to do something with this. You're becoming a celebrity when it comes to these sounds of the sideline. You got to do something with this. But my favorite moment was the Ferg moment, man. I don't know if you saw it yet, Akoye, but if you ain't see Ferg is the word, I'm going to play this real quick. It was hilarious.
Cooks in motion across the formation. Flipping the right flat to Ferguson. Hurdle for a first down.
Have you heard the word? Ferg is the word. Ferg is the word. Ferg is the word. The Ferg is the word. Who said that can't jump? Don't do that.
Word mix.
He got a little seasoning for sure.
He got a little seasoning in him.
For sure. Hey, he got a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. Ooh-wee. Yo, these boys are hilarious, man. I love sounds of the sideline. It brings us literally to the sidelines. It lets us be a part of that camaraderie. Look, man, Ferg got a little of that seasoning. You could tell Ferg got some seasoning. That ain't hard to see. I mean, just look at it. He got a fade. Like Ferg out there with a Boosie fade damn near. So Ferg got a little seasoning going on. But that was a great moment. There's another moment earlier in the sounds of the sideline where they talked about, the safeties were doing work, and we'll get into that in a second. But where my man is at? Let's bring my brother from another in the building, Akoye Media. What's good, bro?
Man, what up with it? What up with it? Don't blame Sky either, man. I was the one that was late. I was chopping it up. I was chopping the film up. I told him give me another 20
Well,
minutes, man.
we
I'm sharing it on Twitter right now
we
too.
chop
So
up the film and then we also chop it up behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know. You're gonna have to explain your time down here. So if y'all don't know, Akoye came down to Dallas this past week.
What did he say? I had a time last weekend. God damn. That was fun though.
Yeah.
It was fun. But it was wild.
I've been telling people the last couple of days, the vibe was just different, and I've been doing this. Man. It's my third season doing this down here in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And outside of the playoff games, and even then the playoff games, it was weird energy, the playoff games.
Yeah.
Outside the playoff games, this was by far the most lit, the highest the energy has been, the aura around it. It was fantastic, man. No matter where you went in Dallas or Arlington, it was on fire, man. And you came to the game at walk-ons, and we'll just say you had a good time, bro.
Oh, I had a great time. I was drunk as hell, man. But I kept it together though.
You kept it together. I told you
keep it together, right? I used to manage a bar. You could tell now. I was like, you ain't even know I was lit like that. I know Jesse ain't know. I was like, I'm lit right now.
Fam, when you told me, and I was like, how did you get to Austin, bro? How did you? He was like, I took a nap.
I had to go take an hour nap. I set an alarm, took a nap because I had to get back because my lady had to do something. I had to go get my daughter because she wasn't going to school. So I was like, I can't even push my flight back. I was gonna push the flight back and go grab a room and chill, but I couldn't even push my flight back. So I had to boogie. And I drove from Dallas to Austin at like 1:00 in the morning. Then I stopped, took a nap, drove the rest of the way, got on a plane with like 10 minutes to spare, man. I look like that, I mean, for lack of a better reference, that O.J. Simpson commercial when he's running through the airport. I'm running through the airport, juking motherfuckers, man. Going in.
Look, Akoye could have went Home Alone. You could have won Kevin, running through the airport. He said, OJ. Let me tell you the moment I knew you was lit, though. Let me tell you the moment I knew you was lit.
How you know?
So I'm a little dude, I'm not a big dude, you know what I'm saying? And I dap up Akoye. And if y'all, Akoye's solid, all right? Yeah. So I dap up Akoye. And Akoye, we dap up somebody, you pull him in. Akoye leaned in a little bit too hard. Akoye leaned a little bit too hard, almost knocked me over, man. The equipment over by. I'm like, all right, Akoye lit. Okay. All right. So every time I interacted with Akoye, I made sure you was sitting down, at the table.
I'm chilling. I'm screaming, here we go. At the TV. They was about to rumble in there. Some lady got up, some Eagles fan. She got up about to square up with a Cowboys fan. About that. I said, oh, it is. It's like that in here, man. I was shocked. This is my kind of party.
Hey, tell them about the Eagle fans, though. They was in there.
Oh, they came out to support. They came out something crazy. Even at the pregame, I went to the Dez tailgate. All that, it was wild. It was all over. So the Eagles came out to represent, but they got quiet real quick. Fast. Man, it was a quiet. It was quiet.
After
it was a bunch of them in the bar, but it started getting empty. Like by the halftime, they start getting the hell up out of there. I was like,
after the Hurts fumble. The energy was done for them. Yeah, like they never regained
made
it.
A peep. You forgot they was in there.
Forgot it. The one time it got close was when Jalen Carter scored, and you saw him kind of get back. But the Cowboys did an amazing job, man. Just shutting that all the way down. They couldn't get anything going consistently, and shut the Eagle fans up.
I don't care. I mean, the playoffs is great, but I don't think there's any better time unless we play them in the playoffs or 49ers. Two rivalries, right? There's no better time to be down there other than a home game against a rival like that. That was the energy was just unreal. Once in a lifetime. I don't think I'm gonna get that feeling again for maybe 10 seasons because it had to be the perfect storm because of what we're playing for and what both teams are doing. We're both 10-3 now. It was just the energy was just too crazy, man. Too crazy. I don't think I'm gonna get that again. It's like chasing your first high or something. I'm not gonna get that feeling again.
A part of me wants this again for the third time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A part of me wants that one more time.
Oh, yeah. Got to step on it.
You know what I'm saying? If I got to see one of the two top teams in the NFC, I want to see that one.
Yeah.
I want to see that one, and that energy I think will be met.
Well, I see why you want to see him because we shoved our foot up all the way up into the, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Let's actually talk about that, though,
Oh, for sure.
I have brought up the fumble, right? The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts fumble. In fact, I'm going to show I'm going to show this Sounds of the Sideline clip real quick. It's basically a couple clips mixed together of the safeties on the sideline, but the first play is that fumble. So here we go. Here we go.
In the gun with a fake and a keep up the middle. He's still running to the 20. Ball's out. Ball's out.
Hey, bro! I shoot Kelsey ass. I just grabbed. Once I seen I had the ball, I just took that. Let go, man. Hey, you made that one pull that.
You going to the gym?
That clip pretty much tells you what happened in that game. They were ready to hit them boys, right? They were ready to deliver those blows. And that first knockout punch, because I think that was one. The other one I think was Ferguson, knocking out old boy number 32, Reed Blankenship. But that play right there, Akoye, I think set the tone. And let me bring Akoye back up in here. I think set the tone for the Cowboys defense. And I don't think it was just that play, but that position group. The safeties, bro. We've been asking for the safeties to do what, Akoye? Make plays, make your presence felt.
Yo, I said this to you right before. What I say to you when you were starting up? I said I think you was doing Here We Go before Dak, right? I think so. Like on the show.
Yeah,
I think he might watch you. And I think the
that,
same thing with the players. Like they probably watching, because I swear everybody we come at or we reference on this show has a week, a good week, the very next game. Like it's like they listening, because the safeties we were talking about Dono, we were talking about Curse, and talking about the clock ticking on them with guys like Izzy and Wanye behind them, but they made you forget about that this week. And I was pleased with the way they played. Dono looked like himself. Curse actually was moving all over the field and looked like himself. And I like what we got out of those guys. So it's good to see that they stepped up and showed that they are still alive. Hooker too.
They all made plays, and the physicality, the hits, the forced fumble, all that was amazing, right? But my favorite play was the play where they ran the split zone read, and this is why, because we've been getting killed with that. That play has been killing Dallas, not just with Philly. San Fran. I think the Chargers ran something similar. Like the Cowboys haven't been able to cover it well. And it was the play that kind of set them up to let them go up to 28 to 17 or whatever it was against the Cowboys, right? And I saw it coming from a mile away. I said, oh, there goes that split. Me and Akoye talked about it. Whenever they line up Dallas Goedert to the right side and he's lined up inside the tight end, that split zone is coming. So they did it. He pulls it out. They play action it. And who's right there with Dallas Goedert? J-Ron Curse. Step for step. So he makes him come off that easy ABC Mickey Mouse read, because that's what they do with Jalen Hurts. And he made him go to a second level read to Devontae Smith. And guess who was waiting right there to lay the hit? Malik Hooker. So that play to me was my favorite play by the safeties, even though the fumble was huge. I just think that showed that, okay, they knew what they were up against. They knew this was a play they had to deal with, and they shut that shit down, Akoye. I loved it.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
I loved it, man. Who else? Stefon Gilmore, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, keep calling him old. If that's what it takes, keep calling
him old every week. Y'all should call him old too. So just get some T-shirts say old man Gilly or something like that on it. You know what I mean? So he can play like that the rest of the year. Piss him off. He played better pissed off.
Yes,
man.
He does. And he's
Piss
steady.
him off.
He's steady, man. I think he's been steady for real all year.
Gilly's been playing great in my opinion. If you told me that we would be this far into the season without Diggs and we wouldn't be, screaming, we need corners, you know what I mean? I'd say that's a win. And Gilly's doing his thing. So I don't know what they're talking about. And then people don't really know how Gilly plays. Like Gilly pre-snap, just like we say Dak does things pre-snap that, it's nuanced and other quarterbacks are just not doing. Gilly does things from a corner perspective pre-snap to take away options. Like he'll take away your reads before you even snap the ball just off his alignment, because he knows from here they can run, a dig, they can run slants, they can do this, that, and the third. He'll take that away just from where he's standing and his leverage that he takes. You know what I mean? And so when he's quiet in the game, it's because he's doing stuff like that all day. So when you have a shot at him, it's either you're going to catch him slipping deep or, use your talent to run by him if you can. And they haven't been able to do that either. So I like what he's doing. He plays smart. A lot like Ty Law late in his career. Ty Law late in his career wasn't the fastest anymore,
Love when Akoye
wasn't the
does
quickest, but was still making plays. And like, how is he still making plays? It was all in the mind. You know what I mean? He just knows where to be.
So if you watch Vach's show, we had a fun bit on Gilly yesterday where, because Gilly don't get hype, and he's very, if you ever listen to a Gilly talk, yes, no. Yeah. And so we're giving him props, and Brother L said, Gilly's like, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Nah, but I love when cause man, I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like you was like right next to me watching that kind of the 90s and early 2000s football, because when you bring up these names, I'm like, yes. No, we don't talk about those players really anymore. We kind of either go all the way back. It's like the 80s and talk about Lawrence Taylor or something like that, or Reggie White. But man, the Ty Law, names you drop, some of the quarterbacks you dropping in, I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah, that's what it remind me of.
Gilly played fantastic, but not to be overshadowed. Deron Bland, yeah, he might have not got targeted a whole bunch, but he only gave up 2 receptions for 8 yards, had 4 tackles, and you saw, him be physical. He's our most physical corner. And he had 2 stops in that game. Let me ask you something, Akoye, because a lot of fans have been asking this question throughout the year, and I just didn't know how to feel about it just yet. Would you bring back Gilly next year? He's 33, and he's getting up there,
Yeah, I think you do, just for the fact that Diggs is going to need time to get back to full speed, and you want something familiar in the room. I like our 3 corners that we have here, and then I like Izzy coming in and like fighting for that position as well. And if he does shine and in training camp and can prove he can play outside, maybe you give him some tick. But having Gilly here is a safety blanket or a security blanket for me. And I think Diggs is going to need not a red shirt year, but he's going to be working his way back in next season. I don't want to put the pressure on Diggs to come out because he got the contract to come out and try to prove that he's fine. I give him his year, let him do his thing. You know what I mean? And I think he'll be fine. I don't want any setbacks, so to speak. So I think you definitely consider bringing Gilly back for at least 1 more year. And you also draft, but you don't want to go into the season with a new guy. You know what I mean? I'd rather have Gilly there. And if you draft a stud, great. Now you have extra. But, I think that you definitely bring him back due to the fact that Trayvon is down.
I'm in favor for it. When this question was posed like mad early in the season, especially after Diggs went down and Bland started showing out, it was like, oh, well, you know what? Diggs, Bland, your outside guys. And that still very well may be the case in the future, right? Yeah. But I love how you brought up, Trayvon Diggs, the injury. That it might take some time. So you're probably going to need to have that insurance on the other side in case Diggs may have to start on PUP or something crazy. I don't know. Nonetheless, I'd bring him back for that reason, right? And also because now I could bump Bland back into the slot, and I got 3 bona fide studs. I know Gilly up there in age, but 3 bona fide studs, and I say, try me,
Well, here's the thing. If you got Gilly or Diggs, let's just say they do it with Diggs because Diggs is injured. You got Diggs against your third option, and you're pushing Bland back to the slot where he's just crazy. And you got Gilly against your big bodied, receivers, and he's proven against DK and against AJ. That's where he is still that guy. Like, you're not going to muscle him off the football. You got that type of lineup, forcing a guy to throw the ball at Diggs versus a number 3 option all day. I like those odds. Are throwing at Gilly with those 2-way goals in the slot where he's made his name. Really, he made his name. Not Gilly, but Bland in the slot where he made his name. So I like that. I like that option. I definitely do.
Hey, Trip Davis Aces, if you don't like me talking about age, I don't know what you want me to do, bro. I'm going to bring up age. It matters. Father Time is undefeated. So he's going to be 34 or whatever next year, but if he's still playing at a high level, you bring him back. But age definitely matters in this situation because how many people have beat Father Time?
Yeah. Age matters more when you have, battle scars. And I think Gilly is a smart guy that takes care of his body. I know I see guys referencing Terrence Newman in there. Yeah. He was another one of those guys. Didn't really get any injuries to the wheels early in his career at all. So he was able to play longer than most because they didn't get those injuries. And Gilly doesn't.
He came in late too. But I keep forgetting he came in as an old man. He came in like 24 or something like that. 24.
Yeah, T-New was old.
T-New was old.
He was that guy. He still played pretty well when he went over to Cincinnati and when he went over to Minnesota. Yeah, he played well.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the film aspect of it, of how this thing went down out there in AT&T Stadium. If you're ready for it, Akoye.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let's go. Let me jump over here. Boom. Early on, I know some of you guys who were watching on Twitter, you got this in the silent treatment without the noise. But what I put here, the reason I put this stuff out here is because a lot of the things you'll see against Josh Allen will work. I mean, against Hurts, will work against Josh Allen as well. I'm sorry about that. But you want to have chaos in the pocket. I saw early on what we did in this game. I was amazed by. I didn't mind the fact that he got the penalty on that because Micah went out there and punched Lane Johnson right in the face.
Right in the face.
Immediately broke his nose. You know what I mean? I love that. And then Tank was just doing what Tank naturally does. But the reason I say that these things work is because, as you see here, they had options, with Goddard right there deep, right? But when you have that chaos in the pocket and you don't allow Hurts to get upfield, he can't make the throws and step into those throws the same way he would if Hankins had not been there to close that running lane off. And those things work against Josh Allen. You'll see on film as well, because KC was doing a lot of the things you see us doing here. Playing coverage, trying to get home with 4, and when they're blitzing with speed. They're bringing speed at them just like we're bringing Dono.
We asked for that, didn't we, Akoye?
Exactly what we asked for. Just like we're bringing Dono here. Those types of things work. So the things we did against the Eagles will work against Josh Allen. You got to make sure you're covering deep. And he has other things. So one thing we talked about back behind the scenes was he's not a guy. A lot of people compare Josh Allen to Hurts, and that's their running capability and their ability to hurt you outside of the pocket, yes. But Josh Allen can scan from the pocket. I mean, he's a scanner from the pocket. So you don't want to just leave him in the pocket, able to dice you up, because he will dice you up.
Yeah.
Whereas Hurts, I think you definitely want to make sure you want to make him play quarterback, traditionally, and you have more success doing that. Now, we did a great job. We just gave our guys kudos, so I don't need to go in and give everybody their individual accolades for this film. But schematically, I liked some of the things that we were doing because we're playing two guys that play similar. And Josh Allen is one of those guys where once he spills out of the pocket, you don't want to let him get his shoulders turned upfield, because he's definitely a threat there. But moving him around, and we talked about this too, moving him around and actually having your defense practice scramble drills, sort of. I know you practice scramble drills with your receivers offensively, but you want to practice scramble drills against this offense, because once he moves off the mark, he stares down his target so much that you get opportunities. The Chiefs had plenty of opportunities. And I'll pause this real quick because I want to touch on this point.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs had plenty of opportunities for interceptions in this game due to the fact that once Josh Allen chooses a side and he starts to move his feet, if you travel with him from the back end as a zoned corner, you can jump into a lot of passing lanes with him. I think he throws a lot of interceptions because of that. I would argue, and I would have to go back and look at all the film, but I would argue that he probably doesn't throw all of his interceptions from the pocket unless he's rushed, because from the pocket, he can do a lot of the things we like to see Dak doing, moving guys with his eyes, looking safeties off, holding guys. He can do all that. It's just that he doesn't always have time. So when he gets happy feet, that's when you can get him locked in or locked down field on somebody, somebody, and you can take advantage of him. KC came out with a lot of too high looks, and they were playing off and just keep, trying to get home with 3 or 4. And they did a good job with this. Like a lot of the plays where he was forced to pull the ball down, where with them just say, keep him in the pocket. And then, like I said, don't let him get turned upfield. Shadow him and stay in front of him, whether you're spying him with somebody or you're taking a DB and trying to just keep in front of him. Because if he can't run and you got a guy in front of him and you're playing coverage, he does things like that. He go ahead.
Before you finish, finish your thought. But before that, I want to kind of touch on this generally before we break down the Bills film. So go ahead, finish your thought on that, because I saw you still had some film up there. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah. Oh, you did. Oh, you turned that off already?
Yeah.
I can't even see that.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the stuff.
That's cool. It's cool. Run that one back. Run that particular.
Okay,
one
so
back
go back.
We break it all the way down.
Go back to all the Josh Allen film.
Not all of it. Just your last point. I didn't know we were going right into the Josh out.
Okay, my bad. Because I'm in a different screen. I can't see what you're doing. All right. So basically, I'm just saying, like, when you'll see in the film, we'll get back to it. So I'll let you go ahead and finish your point, because you're going to see everything I'm saying in the film in a second. If you guys couldn't see it, you're going to see it now.
Yeah, I want to kind of generally talk about the Bills prior to getting into the actual film, because I think there's some things to build up to talk about when it comes to the Bills offense. The number one for me is that this isn't very much like the Cowboys offense. I don't think this is the same offense from earlier in the year.
Right.
They had Ken
You
Dorsey was
gotta
the
touch
offensive
on that.
coordinator,
Exactly
right? I think that's huge. That's huge to bring up because if you go back and you look at and like I told you in the behind the scenes, I kind of mistakenly did this. I wasn't say, well, let me go watch the Denver game.
I did it too. And I just said that it's not apples to apples. You're right.
I wanted to watch the Denver game, the Jets game, and I think it was the Kansas City game. So as I'm watching the Denver game, it struck me about towards the end of that game, like, because it looked different. I'm like, this looked different than when it was against Kansas City. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, oh, they fired Ken Dorsey right after this game. That's why it looked different. Yep. So went and watched the Jets game, went and watched the Chiefs game, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of night and day in what they do in spurts, right, in moments. And a lot of what I noticed that Joe Brady wants to do, by the way, that's their offensive coordinator now, is he uses a whole lot of pre-snap stuff. He tries to stress you out post-snap. It is very San Fran-ish, Akoye. Very, 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 very San Fran-ish, but I don't think they have the sweat equity built up into this thing to know how to do it like Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
But boy, they can catch you if you're not on your game with all that pre-snap motion and sending guys one way. Next thing you know, Dalton Kincaid is boom, or they're you talked about behind the scenes. Gabe Davis, wide open for a touchdown at the end of that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Almost the same play. We was wide open against the Eagles, and Josh Allen, for whatever reason, just missed him. So I think, Joe Brady is the kind of the wild card in this whole thing since they fired Ken Dorsey, Akoye.
Right, 100%. And you can tell that Josh Allen is comfortable there. Like when it comes to getting the ball out quick, when he gets a look that he likes, like that touchdown to Cook, you can't hesitate with this guy. When he get a looks like that he likes, he's on it. And his arm talent is crazy because every time KC got into it, you'll see it in the film. Every time they got into a single high safety look, whether it was cover 3 or cover 1, he attacked it well when he had time. So the best approach to dealing with him in this offense is keeping his feet moving. I noticed that, KC, if there was one thing that they did well, it was, make him uneasy in the pocket the entire game. And that's your best chance of beating him, is keeping him moving around. Although getting outside of the pocket, he is definitely at his most dangerous, just like an animal is at his most dangerous when they're at their most desperate. He is as well when you put his back up against the building. But that's your best chance to beat him, because if you let him have time in the pocket, he is not Hurts. If he has time in the pocket and he's comfortable, he's going to hurt you.
Deliver. Yeah. Like I told you backstage, people hit me up saying, "Hey man, just do the Jalen Hurts, game plan." I'm like, nah, this is different. He can actually in fact, and I'll explain this in detail. The Eagles' offense is not designed for Jalen Hurts to scan the field, sit in the pocket, and go through 3 reads and deliver the ball. It is designed to get the ball out and read 1. If read 1 is not there, 9 times out of 10 run, or read 2, and if read 2 is not there, 9 times out of 10 get the hell out of Dodge. It's not really designed to have complex concepts. Different story here with Buffalo. I love their concepts.
1-2 go offense with the Eagles.
They got some fun concepts behind it. And we talked about how Josh Allen is going to make you cover twice. There's that 2.3, 2.5 seconds, and then right after that, it ain't over. You got to play through the whistle because he's silly when it comes to some of the throws he can make off platform, and I'm sure you'll show some of them. I got some of them up in here as well. Now I don't know. Do you have any of James Cook in this film session? Because I want to talk about him for a quick second.
Number 4? Yeah, for sure. I got his touchdown that he had in there, and I have an outlet pass. I didn't do anything on the ground really, but I have an outlet pass he got on in the flat and ran up the sideline as well. So I was just showing that he's dangerous.
Yes,
sort of like Brandon or Brian Robinson with the and Gibson and as well with Washington football people. They use him a lot like that. Like they will throw him the ball up the seam deep. They don't care. So you can't just assume that when he's running in motion, because I think they caught KC on that touchdown. They caught him in motion. They thought he was going to run to the flats, and he got that linebacker to set his feet down, and he just ran right by him. You know what I mean? So Yeah, you can't play with him as if he's just a flat option. He's not. He'll run a rail route on you real quick.
Yep. I thought I had to play up here, but it's probably the next play. But the reason why I wanted to bring him up because I do think they have a pretty solid 1-2 punch in James Cook and Murray. But again, goes back to Joe Brady. Since he's become the offensive coordinator, they've been using him deliberately as a pass catcher, not just as we're gonna just dump it off to you as an outlet, Akoye. He got 16 targets, 14 receptions, 2 touchdowns, and he's averaging 12 yards per reception over the last 3 weeks. And it is deliberate. So if they see something on film, if they see, your backer can't deal with him, your safety can't deal with him, they would target him in that pass game. But we got a Marquise Bell, and I do.
I was about to say, you know it. I knew you was going there because this is a game where I would say Bell is going to be an eraser when it comes to Cook, due to the fact that Bell has that safety flex. He can move around. He does great. I think he did a great job last week against Swift and Scott and Gainwell as well. You usually see Gainwell especially get out in the space and start to make some noise. But I think we talked about our safety play, and I guess you can call Bell a safety too. But we talked about our safety play last week, but we didn't give the linebackers a lot of credit due to the fact that they weren't they weren't really asked to stop the run that often.
Right, exactly.
But Bell did a great job in coverage last week. Yeah, and he forced a fumble too, I think. Yeah,
he's going to be key in this one against James Cook, along with, in my opinion, whoever the hell was at defense end on that left side. So if it's D-Law, which usually it is, is going to be important, or that right side, I should say, because they run to the right, to the Cowboys' right, their left, and that's where Cooks has made his money. 38 carries, 249 yards, averaging a ridiculous 6.6 yards per carry to the left side. And they do it in a variety of ways. They'll do a toss that way. They'll do some split zone stuff that way. They're pulling their tackles. They'll pull their damn tackle from the opposite side. Usually you see a guard or maybe a center if you got a Kelsey type. They're pulling tackles. They've got a fullback or something in there. They are running to that left side deliberately, and they're getting a lot of yards. So, Koye, we talk about D-Law being that dude, right? Maybe you put D-Law on that side today,
that's exactly what you do.
Or on Sunday instead of on the Cowboys' left side.
Yep, that's exactly what you do with him. You put him at the point of attack, and you live with it. Both him, rotate some Chauncey and Sam Williams in there on that side as well. Guys that like to deal with the mess. Because as long as we're, staying on the outside, not letting him get to the edge, I think you can limit some of that he likes to do out there. Now, when D-Law's off the field, that's why I said Chauncey. Like when he's spelled out and he's off the field, you want Chauncey out there. And I say that because Dorrance has a habit of jumping, and he did it in this game too. He has a habit of jumping inside, and sometimes they don't make him pay for it. But I think that you want someone who has a run stopper mentality who can also squeeze and collapse the pocket from that side over there in this game, especially.
I'm really curious to see without Hankins, right? Because there's going to be no Jonathan Hankins in this game, so they're going to be asking Mozzie Smith to step up. Carl Davis, I'm not sure if you got a chance to take a look at Carl Davis or if you remember Carl Davis. Something I didn't know, I did notice, by the way, maybe sidebar conversation. When he got cut by the Patriots, fans were kind of coming out and upset, and he was like, "Nah, don't be upset. I didn't do good enough. This is the business. I got to be better." And he owned up to it, right? Yeah. And he said, "I promise you, this next stop, I'm going to make yada yada yada." So I'm like, okay, now's your shot. I'd imagine they're going to call Carl Davis up. They're going to count on Neville Gallimore and Mozzie Smith, but I'd like to see the 6'5", 340-pound nose tackle in there in this game for at least 10 or so snaps.
Yeah, they probably will call him up. And you probably will see a little bit more Chauncey in there rotating as well. Chauncey doesn't get as much credit as he should against the run because, he's a rotational guy. But Chauncey he's nasty versus running. Even in that Eagles game, you see a lot of good reps from Chauncey. So I think Chauncey probably will get a little bit more snaps this game than we're used to. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I like how violent he plays. He's undersized to play, obviously, to be a replacement full-time for Hankins, but they'll find creative ways to use him alongside Mozzie and probably Nev as well. But I like what Chauncey gives us violent-wise. Like he's just as violent as D-Law, man. He's a violent guy, man. I love him. Yeah.
Now, before we get back into the film, Got to talk about their weapons, right? We talked about James Cooks, Stefon Diggs. I mean, I don't know what his numbers are looking like, even though I just did all this film, so I'm just watching film, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like Stefon Diggs is having that crazy year that he was having in the past. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I didn't see it on, but he's streaking on film, but him and Gabe. But yeah, I didn't see it either. You're right.
But what I'm getting at is it don't matter. He's still.
You better pay attention.
He's still a problem.
With that said, what you think though? You think Gilly or Bland is the guy? Or which one do you put on Stefon Diggs if you had to have a guy follow?
So I was watching, I think it was the Chiefs game, and I came away from that game like, how old is Diggs? How old is it? I had to go look.
I don't know.
And I think he just hit like 30 or 31 or something like that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's outside, maybe it's the elements, but I didn't see the Diggs, right? And I know he can do all that. I know he's special, So I was like, man, I think Gilly can match up with him, because initially I was saying, well, I want to put the athletic dude on the athlete, and Gilly kind of been dealing with the brutes, the big guys, and that's Gabe Davis. But I'm like, with the way he runs his routes, he's really good, man. Like he's still an amazing route runner. And Gilly, I think, can compete
take away
mentally.
Some of those concepts. Yeah.
Yes, from a mental aspect. So I personally don't think they're going to travel this game. But if you ask me a question, I say, hey man, Gilly on a hot streak.
Yeah, I like how Gilly playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, Bland, he made up for the week prior. I think he made up for it in that game with the interception, but I think he made up for that Seattle game last week with the way he played. And this is another game. If you're going to say, hey, Bland has an opportunity to get to 9 or 10 interceptions, is this game, because Josh Allen is going to give him opportunities. I would rather Bland playing against Gabe due to the fact that he's going to take shots deep with him. Plus, he's not the first option. So if I want Bland to be able to kind of not ignore a guy, but peel off his guy, I would rather him peel off of a Gabe every once in a while than a Diggs. If you're on Diggs, you play in phase and you just pay attention to him all game. Just you're not going to get as many opportunities. Whereas I think on Gabe, he has an option sometimes. If he can jump something on the trips where they're all on the same side, he might be able to jump some things and or peel off and undercut some things. And I like Bland being able to do that more so than Gilly.
I think Dalton Kincaid has taken over Gabe Davis as his second favorite option, Josh Allen's second favorite option. Yep. And again, you go back to that play. It's on the film that you might even have it on your film as well. But
I don't think I have a lot of Kincaid in there. No.
He had Gabe Davis wide.
Oh, I saw that
open.
I think I saw that one. If we talk about the same play,
at the end of the Chiefs game.
It was like the same route, and he got pushed off the mark, like he never got the ball off. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, he just stared down Dalton King. I don't know why he did this.
No,
it was a great concept. They had I think it was trips left. They sent Gabe Davis kind of just it was up the seam, but it was from the outside, which is interesting. So he kind of just slow rolled it and went right up the seam. They sent Dalton Kincaid right behind that, kind of like on a wheel concept, and he just faked it. He faked it to whomever that was. Might have been Diggs, and he stares down Dalton Kincaid. He has Gabe Davis. I mean, that's the most wide open you're ever going to get in National Football League, and he just ignores him. So not only do you see the receptions for Kincaid, 61, second leading receiver, but then you see stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, Gabe Davis has fallen out of favor, with Josh Allen. So Dalton Kincaid to me is the next guy. And Kincaid, we all knew he was a good tight end coming into the league. He's had a really solid year, 2 touchdowns, 61 receptions. He hasn't really shown off the receiver aspect yet, like downfield a whole lot. But he's very comfortable, I noticed, underneath. He knows how to find the hole, catch it, secure it. And Josh Allen's going to find Dalton Kincaid. So, hey, J-Ron, let's repeat that thing, right? Let's have a repeat game because they're going to test
you want to stick around, and this is the game. This is a game for you.
They're going to test you. And then, as you guys can see here in the preview of their offense, they are second ranked once they get down there into the red zone. And to me, that is all Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's all Josh Allen.
I put a play in there where he just ran over the whole defense. I was like, he like a fullback.
Yes.
They stopped him at the 3-yard line. He still got in there. I'm like, damn.
And that is where it'll be a wild card, Akoye. Like what you're going to get from Josh Allen running the route, but until you you see him running it, until you feel him running it, it's a whole different ball game.
One thing I'll say about these guys, though, man, we've been doing it all year, whether good or bad, getting penalties or not. They toe that line of we dare you to try to run with your quarterback. They dare you to do it, and sometimes they get beat, but they dare you. Like Hurts ran out to the perimeter, and I think it was Bell. Bell just falls into his ribs, boom, right, and then you see him kind of hurl over. He ain't want to get up after that. So we'll put a hurting on you if you decide to run that way. I know Josh Allen is different,
and I'm with you normally 9 times out of 10.
We're gonna smack him around a little bit.
9 times out of 10, and I said it last week. Hit Hurts, because Hurts is. Oh yeah, I think he's a little soft. Hurts is mushy. Hurts is hurting. He ain't. This country
like Ben
strong,
Roethlisberger, man.
Wyoming, he don't give a damn. I watched him get hit so many times during it. He don't care about that. Hit him, sure. Don't get me wrong. Hit his ass.
Smack him.
But don't get hurt trying to hurt him.
Oh, no,
because you know what I'm saying? This is different. Like you said, this is Ben Roethlisberger on steroids. You can hit Ben all game. Ben like, I don't give a damn.
Even Ben broke eventually. You know what I'm saying? We got some hitters. So that's the matchup I want to see. I want to see how many times we can get a hat on him. You know what I mean? Because he's gonna give you an opportunity to do it. Whereas other quarterbacks is running out of bounds, they sliding. Josh will jump over.
But here's
you,
what I'd rather him do.
He gonna try to jump. He like that. He gonna jump over you.
Here's what I'd rather him do. Forget trying to take him out the game. One thing I noticed with Josh Allen, because he's still a quarterback at the end of the day, go for the ball.
Yeah.
Go for the ball. Kind of like what they did at Hurts, where you had one guy who might have been delivering a hit, the other guy's trying to take the rock. Go for the rock, man, because he still turns the ball over and he's gonna throw you one, but he also can give you one from a fumble standpoint. So while you might want to go try to deliver a hit, I hate the way these new dudes hitting now. It's just no arms, no wrapping up. They just throwing their head and their shoulder in there. Mm-hmm. Go for the peanut punch. Go for the strip while you're wrapping up or something.
Yeah, we do.
So this is Dan Quinn talking about the mobility and comparing it actually to Jalen Hurts.
I would say there is similar styles to these guys who are really tough, strong runners, and I would count Allen and Hurts near the top of that list, where not only can they make you miss, but they can also try to run you over like a running back. And so for guys like that, there's quarterback draws and escaping out of the pocket and designed quarterback runs. And so those are the things as we go through the week that we'll get more prepared with. But he's certainly, so far what I've seen, some exceptional plays by him on tape, much like Hurts has. Yeah, that's absolutely the fact. And we know we have to affect the quarterback, and that has to go down. And so for, quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket and create on the move, that's a really big deal. So we don't allow that to happen. So sometimes you may have to try to cage somebody in, even though you may not have the best rush move in mind. So that's kind of the balance of it all, of working together. And this quarterback will push us to the limits this week as well.
Somebody had asked him about, how do you contain them? Do you put them in the pocket? Do you just say, how do you battle? Let's get home. Let's get upfield and rush. And wait, we can't let him just step up and then take off, because Josh will do that too. That's what they asked Dan Quinn.
Parallel, man. That's what I was saying. KC did a good job of. Yeah, they kept him in the pocket, but they were going after him, but they kept a guy out there that was able to peel off. And Jones is a fast big guy, so he was able to stay over the top and keep him, from running forward. So keep his shoulders from squaring up north to south. That's when he's a problem, because now he really has the option to run. When he starts to escape out, just mirror him. And I think you'll see a lot of they'll take turns doing it. You might see some safety play where, maybe Wilson, if he's free on a play, will be doing it. You might see some Micah doing it every once in a while, but they'll take turns spying him from the A gap. You know what I mean? They'll stay over the top of that center and then wait for him to spill out left or right and mirror him, rather than go after him and make him, make a choice with his feet, because he is like a running back. You want to just mirror him and keep his eyes going downfield, because he'll lock on while he's doing that. And when he locks onto that side of the field, those guys who are off ball, who have already, like you said, covered their initial route, they now can converge in and help on that front side of the play. And that's where I saw a lot of opportunities. Like I said, the interception that he did throw, that's exactly how it happened. I think it was 38. I'm not sure. That's Snead, right? I think it was Snead. I'm not sure. No, it was actually number 27. Don't know who that is for the KC, but he covered on the far side of the field, in zone, and he just watched, and you could see his trajectory. I showed it in the film, but he just watched where Josh Allen was going with the ball, and he just slowly ran across the field with him on a scramble drill. And Josh did not pay attention to anything that's coming from the left side of the field. He's locked on, and he threw an interception due to that. So I think that's what you do with him. Get him out of the pocket. He's going to lock on to somebody downfield while he's being frustrated by your guys that are in his face. KC did a great job of that, and they limited him due to that. But I think with our offensive firepower, because KC we already know they don't have the receiving options this year to really hurt you the way they could, with
they ain't got the offense right now. Yeah.
Right. I think with our offense playing a similar style of defense that KC exhibited, I think we can definitely limit him and then take advantage of some of the things that he does. So I think that's the blueprint. The way KC played him is great. That's how, defensively. And the way we play offensively, I think we'll put more pressure on him to have to try to keep up and make plays, which will give you even more opportunities for turnovers and desperation plays out of him. Because he is a guy that when you make him desperate, when you make him desperate, that's when he's at his most dangerous, but that's when he's also the more dangerous to himself. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
It goes both ways. You pick your poison.
He's a wild boy. It's the reason why I say on Twitter, Josh Allen got to chill. Well, I watched the film and I
you got to chill.
You got to chill.
You got to relax, man.
I text y'all in the Illuminati chat. We were talking about the game and I just was laughing. I'm like, yo, Josh Allen is hilarious. Yeah. He's a hilarious dude to watch because he's ridiculously talented, but he does stupid stuff and stupid stuff in a good way, stupid stuff in a bad way. Yeah. And it's silly stuff like how did you do that? Why did you do that? And that's the reason why you got an interception or a turnover. Right. The hero ball stuff is so real, man. I noticed if you get them in third and medium or longer, that's where he's not trying to throw the ball away. Thanks. He's going to try to make something happen. And last week we got asked about a spy, and somebody said, put Mike as a spy for Hurts. I'm like, you don't need a spy for Hurts. That wasn't a game for a spy. This game is not necessary. This game, though, I can see that. I can see you doing spy type stuff with him because what Brady and them are trying to do is they're trying to get routes out. They're trying to, and their routes got to develop a bit. So while last week it was pressure. This week to me is cover. Because if you can cover on that back end, Josh Allen's going to try to make a play. We got the dudes. I watched what's number 11 for Jermaine Johnson. And Jermaine Johnson get held a bunch in that game. Dawkins, while he's okay, left tackle, I don't think he can mess with Mike and them boys. Mm-hmm. I watched some of those guys get after Josh Allen on that second cover. We talked about how Josh Allen's going to make you cover twice, and that's where that interception came. So you gotta be ready to pounce on it because Josh Allen's going to make you cover twice. And if you've got either a rushing spy or you got a cover spy, I think those are two different things. Yeah, the cover spy could be the guy that had to pick against in the Kansas City game, which we'll show here in a second. Right. The Russian spy can be Russian spy.
they go cut your stream off.
Just notice what I said.
Russian spies.
The rushing spy.
There you go.
Gotta pronounce that.
AI don't know the difference.
No, boy, they hear that. They about to. They hear that. They're gonna be like, all right, Sky, wrap it up.
Yeah. Here we go.
But no, seriously, if they have a rushing spy, I think that's different. And that's where, he's going to try to break down with that second look and now get after his ass and force him to one side. But you've got the film to actually show everybody exactly what you're talking about. So let's jump back into the film, Akoye.
Yeah, I didn't know where we stopped at, so I just stopped.
That's fine.
Wherever I was, All right, let's see where we at here. Boom. All right. On this play, like I said, this is just an example of the coverage that KC was running. They ran a lot of too high safety looks. This is cover 2 here, but they ran a lot of this stuff and then just kept him in the pocket like we just were talking. As you can see, if you look at the center, you see that's Chris Jones. He's just standing there, see? So he's playing spy just to keep him behind the line of scrimmage. That's all they're trying to do with him because once he chooses a side, he locks on and he's going to do something frantic with the football. So that's what you get an opportunity for big plays because you're going to see a couple of plays here where he actually does get the ball to Kincaid or get the ball to Cooks, and they do make some plays when he does that. But he also get opportunities. Now this is what they did against Oh, this is too high as well. My bad. I thought this was the single high look, but this is just another example of what KC was doing with their looks. They ran a lot of too high shell and just kept him in the pocket. And you see there, they're spilling out. They both linebackers are playing spy on both sides. They kind of double spied him on this play. But when you stretch, allow him to stretch the play, but don't allow him to get north to south, because when he gets north to south, he can run, and he also, he's keeping his eyes upfield very well. He's very disciplined when it comes to keeping his eyes upfield. I just put that in there. This is something that Dorrance does a lot, and so does Fowler. They crash the B gap a lot, and when you do that against him, he doesn't have a problem getting away. Like he reads that well, and he'll do this to you like routinely. So you don't want to play with him that way. You definitely want to keep him in the pocket and sort of collapse the pocket rather than just pursuing. And if you're going to go after him, attack him with speed. So you want this is a Dono game. This is a game where we don't rush J. Lou a lot. But if you were going to choose a game to blitz a J. Lou or a guy from the nickel, is this game, because those are the guys that get to him. They did the same. Actually, KC did a great job against Hurts too doing this, and they did this to Josh as well. They're going to blitz him with 27 on this play, and that's that pre-snap motion that you were looking at. And this is one of the few times that KC actually came out with a single high look, and that's because they rolled that safety down late. And as you can see, I paused it here, but you can see the seam right developing, but you also can see the flat. So right now, that safety, that nickel that's standing there watching,
Keep that pause. Keep that pause when you're done.
All right, I'm keeping it. But yeah, that he's sitting there. He has a choice. He can ride that running back up the seam, or he can rush to the flat. But right now, Josh already knows where he's going with this ball. It's already too late. It's a wrap. But I got it still paused for you. Go ahead, do your thing.
So this was a great design, I think, and this was in the first quarter, first possession, I believe. So it was their first 15, and this is what Joe Brady would do, very similar to a San Francisco situation.
Yep.
9 times out of 10. This look, the running back is running a Texas route or a choice route. So they're going to read the linebacker, break in, break out. I think they use their own tendencies against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Most teams are going to have that running back do the break and have the tight end go up the seam. Had the tight end went up the seam, I think the safety covers him. So with the tight end breaking in front of Bolton has to acknowledge it. And once he acknowledges that, if you look at the running back, he's not even worried about a choice route. This was a deliberate run up the seam route behind the tight end and put pressure on the safety. This is actually a very easy read, low key, because if the safety plays back, I just dump it off to the running back to the left, and he's going to get a hell of a lot of yak, might even score. If he steps up, I don't care about your free rusher from the end. I know I got a wide open touchdown, and when you let it play, that's exactly what happens.
Yep. You blitz him, you better get there, because that safety was too far out. I think that's Reed. That was too far out on the other side of the hash. There's no way he makes this play. It's a wrap. Very well designed, and they caught him in motion. As I said, it's like, if you're going to blitz him, you better get home. They brought a safety at him, so you want to bring speed at him when you do blitz, but he read that prior to, and there was no way you were getting underneath that. So they will kill you with their design, and as you said, their scheme definitely is a lot better than it was in the early weeks, because they're not so stagnant with the football. They give him quick places to go with the ball on a regular basis. Now, when you do keep him, as I said, you keep him in the pocket and you watch what he's doing, he will take you to the ball, because he'll lock on. Like right now, see, he's locked on already, and Reed sees that. He knows he has help inside, so he's going to peel off. He's going to peel off and get underneath this route. So we have guys that are ball hawks like this, so he'll give you opportunities like that all day. And I think Snead probably would have intercepted that had Reed not, jumped it anyway. So
arm arrogance.
They were all over it, and he gives you opportunities for stuff like that all day. You know what I mean? I said Hooker will be tested in this one, because when we like to go single high a lot more than KC.
Yeah.
KC, I don't think they're as good a cover 1, cover 3 team as we are, but we're arrogant with it. As you can see, we'll keep Hooker out there over the top all day long. And when Josh sees this, he's gonna take a shot at you. You will be tested. I'm not saying Hooker's not up for it, but as you can see here, as soon as you see these single high looks, every time I saw him, I'm like, like he had an opportunity in this one. He got run off of this, off of the mark, but you can see how dangerous that is. And he had a two-way go. So no matter what, he had that safety, had to respect the same option that was on the left side. And that left the right side open, but Josh Allen just couldn't get back over to it. You know what I mean? If he could have got over to it, if he would have recognized it, Yeah, so you got to bring that pressure in his face and make sure he can't just sit back there in the pocket because he'll hurt you with this type of stuff. There's the rail route that I was talking about. Like he runs to that running back, ran to the flat, Cooks runs to the flat, and then Josh just waits for him to clear that linebacker, and it's big play after big play when he sees that. So they will hurt you with the back out of the backfield. And I'm not talking about flat routes. They will throw the ball downfield to him all day long. So this is a game where Bell will be asked to show his safety abilities more so than his linebacker play. You know what I mean? Because he's going to have to cover Cooks a lot. You know what I mean? Again, playoff, I put here, like you said it as well. You want to play coverage, same thing. Playoff, keep him in the pocket, force him to hold the ball and move around in the pocket, not just bounce. See, they have him moving, and then late, as he comes off of his second read, you see Jones gets his hands on him.
That's the shit I'm talking about right there.
He'll just get the ball out there and do some crazy stuff with the football. This is where you want Josh at, but also that's where he's most dangerous, because if Kincaid catches that, that could be a big play. But you can see that this is what KC, they trained against Hurts to do that. You know what I mean? And they played him very similar to the way they play Hurts, and they'll give you an opportunity to get a body on him. But they kept so many spies in his face that it was ridiculous, But you can see how smart he is. Even when you're doing that, he's not a guy that's going to pull that ball down and do something, like just take a sack. He's looking to push the ball downfield even when you do that. And when he actually does run, as you can see here, they stopped him at the 5-yard line. He still gets a touchdown out of this. That's how amazing he is at running the football. But get home with 4. You know what I mean? Keep him in the pocket. Keep a guy that has nimble feet in the A gap to be able to come over the top and spy him. Because you got to be able to drop back in coverage and keep him moving around in order to stop him. If you blitz him, you better get home because he's going to recognize it fast. You know what I mean? So I would blitz him sparingly. This is what you want from him. And this is what I was saying when I say the scramble drills that you want to maintain. You see where 27 is, right? He's nowhere in this play. He covered. He done his job already. He's covering the left side of the field, but he's going to track Josh Allen. Now that Josh Allen's escaping out of the pocket, he's tracking him. And as he's tracking, Josh is locked in on that right side. He kind of double pumps this play here, but you see how he's locked in. He goes to the left. Now he's locked. He doesn't have time because that rush is in his face, and he will give you these opportunities all day long. And that's where this interception comes from. So you have to tell your DBs, and we do a good job at this, but we don't play a lot of zone. Right. But if we're in zone, you got to tell these DBs, like, hey, man, you need to scramble drill with Josh because he'll take you right to the football once he's out of the pocket. He locks on and he's going to go for it. That's the end of that film. But as you can see, we have the ball hawks, I think, to be able to cover and cover twice, so to speak, like you said. Yep. But also have the guys up front to be able to keep him in the pocket and keep him moving around while in the pocket. We did a great job of that against Hurts. But the flip side of that coin is you can't just say, hey, keep him in the pocket and make him throw from it. You want him to escape eventually because that's when you have opportunities. But like you said, there's games where you don't spy. This is the game where you spy to make sure that once he escapes, he doesn't run. Right. You want him to escape and throw the ball, but you just want to make sure you're on assignment when he does it.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is most of his best runs aren't really from scrambles. They're the design ones, where it drop, and again, it's different from my opinion, Hurts, because they don't have a scheme that threatens you, in my opinion, from a passing standpoint, where this one does. So you think 2nd and 8, all right, they're going to drop back and they're going to throw it. Nah, they're actually dropping back. It looks like a throw, and he's going north-south, and he's getting 16 on you. So, I don't mind the spy in this one because there is a threat of the run and pass, in my opinion, that's greater than the previous quarterback that you played. But, I mean, you explained it well in the sense of make him have to be a hero is basically what you're saying. Yeah. Put him in that situation. Sometimes it'll look like the play where, I don't know, again, he does silly things. Yeah. He was fading out of bounds. I mean, back towards the out of bounds. He's falling out of bounds, bro. He throws the ball sideways over the defender into Latavius Murray's hands. Catch, no catch, doesn't matter. It got there. It was a catch. They called it a catch fumble. And I'm like, that's just silly. That's just stupid. But then there's times.
It's just stupid, guys.
It's just silly. But there's times where, okay, that's getting picked off. There's times where the arm arrogance, he's the most arrogant quarterback in the National Football League, bar none, even more arrogant, in my opinion, than Pat. He's so arrogant with it. Then there's times where I'm scrambling. I don't care about the left side. I'm staring down my guy, and what happens? He tries to fit it in the hole, and boom, picked off, right?
Yeah.
And there's times where Snead, he's going right and it gets picked off. And there's some film in here too where it works against the Jets. He's scrambling to his left, and he has Dalton Kincaid, driving across, and he fits it right between the window because he can do that. So when I say you have to be prepared to play through the whistle as a cover guy, not a passer, as a cover guy, that is so important in this game, bro.
Yeah. He's a laugh now, cry later type of guy, though, because that stuff works, and he can posterize you every once in a while doing it. He won't stray away from it. So that's a habit that I don't think he'll ever break because it works sometimes. It's just like you got a guy who, has a puncher's chance. He might not, be as good defensively boxing because he knows he can always land one punch and change the fight. Sometimes that comes back to haunt you because you develop bad habits because of that. And Josh Allen is one of those guys. Like, he trusts his arm so much. Like you said, he'll do anything with the football because he thinks he can. He's a think I can type of guy. So that'll work in your favor if you're disciplined. And like you said, you're playing through the whistle. I think, like I said, we see a guy that's similar enough outside the pocket in Hurts for us to understand. Like, and even I'm not. Don't kill me when I say Daniel Jones too. I'm not saying that they are anywhere near Allen's ability. I'm just saying we play fast, twitchy quarterbacks who can hurt you from outside the pocket. So we're used to seeing it. But Josh Allen is an upgrade from that because he's truly a dual threat. He can truly destroy you from the pocket, like destroy you, look you off, and that's when it's worse. So to be honest with you, you do want him out of the pocket, but he's still he's a live wire even when he is. You know what I mean?
Now, one thing we haven't talked about, and there was a couple plays in here that emphasizes this offensive line. Where's the mouse in the house? Where's the advantage? I think there's two of them. Personally,
right tackle.
Right side.
Tackle. I saw him. He was, usually when you see a cut block, it's because you want the guy's hands down early because you're trying to throw a slant in behind him or throw something quick behind him. When you see a right tackle that's electing to cut block when that's not happening, it's like, why would you leave your feet and leave your position? And he did. I think on 2 of the sacks he did that. He tried to cut 56, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? And there wasn't a slant coming in behind him or a drag or anything where he said, I want hands down so we can get this quick option off. It was like he was really dropping back to pass, and they were cut blocking him on a wide 9 split. And I'm like, why is he doing that? So I would say the right tackle due to that fact, because you remember at the end of Collins' stint here, where his hips were, he couldn't really get into it. He couldn't really, turn his hips the same way. He would do that where he was trying to cut everybody rather than just you to bring your feet, bring your trunk and, get in front of the guy and anchor down. He wasn't doing, Collins wasn't doing that, and neither is their right tackle. Yeah,
so I think their whole offensive line can be had, but I have the right side as my weakness, the mouse in the house.
You always on it anyway. I knew you was gonna have it.
Yeah, the right tackle Spencer Brown gave up 9 pressures over the last 2 weeks, 2 sacks, and that was against pass rushing teams, right? So you're talking about Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles. They can both get after the passer, and I think he struggled a bit, and I think the Cowboys can send a bunch of guys at him, Micah, if they want to, but. Don't look, Dawkins. He's a solid left tackle, but I really love that matchup of Micah on Dawkins. I feel like he can get after him. But the other one though is Osiris Torrance, 2nd round pick out of Florida. Powerful guy, goes like 340, damn near 350, I think. Powerful guy. But one thing I noticed he struggles with is the same thing he struggled with in college, and that's quickness. So when I see that, I'm like, ooh, Osa.
Watch this play right here. Pull this back up. This was the play I was talking about.
Got you. 1 second. About Osa. What I was saying, Osa Digizou. I think Osa versus Osiris Torrance or Golston is huge in this matchup. And like I said, in some of that film there, I isolated him so you can see the Jets, who have good defensive tackles, they can get after him. He struggles with the quickness. He gave up 11 pressures in the last 3 weeks. So for me, I'd attack that right side, whether it be with just one-on-ones, trying to get one-on-ones with this is a game where I think you can invite the stunts again. ET stunts, DT stunts. We could bring those back in this game. You ain't have to do it a bunch last week.
Just maintain C gap control though. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody got to replace you. That's all.
Yeah, and I think there was a play where they ran a similar stunt, and I forget the dude's name from Karlaftis. Karlaftis had a nice little spin back where Josh Allen tried to dip, and he called him for a sack. So I would attack that right side, whether it be creating one-on-ones or getting some stunts going that way. And then we are very familiar with Connor McGovern, so he's their left guard. He hasn't been bad this year. I don't think he's been great, but he's been solid. But we should know his tendencies. You practice against him for 4 years. I would love for them to attack whatever they know, the inside information they have on Connor McGovern. Let me bring up this play for you here.
It's real quick. Let me know when you're ready.
Yep, you're good to go.
Boom. Right here. Watch the left side. And this is what I was saying. Like, usually when you see a tackle, cut at a guy's legs this blatantly, is because they want to get something quick out behind him, and they don't. Like, he just dives at his leg, and then I'm like, "What are you doing? Why you do that for?"
I mean, look what 64 is.
You gave up a sack for no reason.
Run that back, and watch 64.
64 is on skates too.
Osiris Torrance.
Yeah, he on skates too. It should be going.
When you see the back of a jersey like that, it's a wrap.
Yeah, you're done.
And Chris Jones is an all-pro. Don't get me wrong, but I personally think that Osa is a Pro Bowler this year. You know? So
Osa playing like a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
But that's all I wanted to show you. I was like, I put that one in there, but that wasn't the only time he did that. He did that like 3 times in this game, and I'm like, it's not. I don't understand why he's doing it, but he's doing it, and I'm like, why are you giving yourself up on those plays where you're leaving your quarterback out there to die? You know what I mean?
By all means, try that on Micah and Dante, because those dudes is way too quick.
Yeah, you a dead man.
They pop.
Try that on Fowler. You definitely.
That's what I'm saying. Dante Fowler or Micah Parsons. You wanna? Okay, you better get him. Yeah, you better get him. All right, Cowboys Nation, it's that time. If I can find my music here. Here we go. Hashtag Ask Akoye as we close out the show. We go through a handful of questions from you guys. Shouts out to Akoye, bro. I mean, every week, just absolute fire. I always tell you this, but man, like, whenever like we get the full-blown resources and we can get to the board and do I feel like we can rival. I know we ain't played in the league and stuff like that. And shouts out to RC and the boys. They kill it.
Oh, they do their thing.
They kill it. But I think for what we do, like the film watchers and whatnot in our community, man, I think we kill it for what we do. I always say this.
We have
nobody fooling with us in other communities.
We got the luxury of being able to zero in on our team, especially. So when it comes to film work, shout out to RC and those guys, but they have so much more stuff to do, whether it be hosting other shows or traveling and doing certain things where they can't possibly dig into the film as much as we can, which is what I think gives us a good edge as well as far as breaking it down. No, we didn't play in the league, but we can see things that you probably just don't have time to watch 5 times. You know what I mean? You got to do so many other things. They're on the go with it. You know what I mean? Whereas I can watch the same play several times, or I can watch the same player from different perspectives to try to get a greater understanding for what they're doing.
And we could always reach out to those types that we know and ask those. Exactly. I do that all the damn time.
Shout out to Dayton Jones. That's my guy, man.
Jones.
Dayton Jones. I call him all the time. I say, what am I looking at?
Yep.
And he'll tell me what I'm seeing. And he's definitely a resource that don't get enough credit from me from the back end, because he helps me out a lot.
I always try to make sure I give my flowers to guys like Brian Rodis and Jesse Holly, and sometimes even the current players, I have to ask quite. I don't want to assume, even though we do a lot of that because we aren't in the locker room, right? We're in the film room, but I'll say, hey, what is this? Like I'm trying to learn, and they give us that information, and that's why I say when we put in this work, I'm not doing it to be like, hey, look what I know. It's just look what I've been told, look what I see, look what I'm understanding, so we can know what we're looking at when we go out there on game day.
Oh yeah, and it makes me happy because I'm like, when I get those little nuggets, it's like the game, just like you know, a lot of ladies come to you. I know they say this and say like they're easy. It's easier for them to watch the game with their husbands because of shows like this, right?
Yeah.
The same feeling they get where they're like, oh, that's what's going on. It's the same feeling I get. I'm like,
Facts.
that's what that
Like a
is.
dopamine hit,
All
low-key.
right, now I see it every time. You know, I can pick up on it and I know what's going on. So I've learned so much about the game since I started doing content. It's crazy from guys who just either watching or from people coming in and saying, that's two gapping right there.
Right.
Really? Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. What's the purpose? Now I'm learning it. You know what I mean? Or different pass rushes, things like that.
First question to Akoye. It's a light one.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon C says, ask Akoye, what were you sipping on that almost hit Sky with the truck stick?
Oh man, well, where do I begin? Because I started at 12 noon with Jay Tuck and those guys.
Lot 10.
Shout out to the heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters.
Over there,
Shouts out to
their
those heavy
tailgate.
hitters.
I went to their tailgate first, and I had some Ciroc. I think Ciroc pineapple.
Yeah,
first.
I saw that picture. You was holding the pineapple Ciroc. Yeah.
Ciroc pineapple early, and then when we got to the Des Bryant tailgate, I had some bourbon with pineapple juice again. I stuck with the pineapple all day. And then I had some beers. You know what I mean? Beer get me there quicker than anything else. So I was
Really?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get numb to the beer, man.
No, like Blue Moon. I was like,
Oh
damn,
no, I love Blue Moon. Yeah, that's my beer.
Yeah.
But if I need it quick, it's the lick.
Yeah, the liquor. I
Need it
feel
quick,
liquor.
it's the
So
lick.
I ain't really do nothing to me. But the beer, I was like, damn, this beer got me feeling crazy. But by the time we got to you, it was 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. So I had already been drinking 7 hours. You know what I'm saying?
What Zeke say? Man, I'm faded.
I was good though, but I was on point for a guy that was tipsy, but I don't think you knew how tipsy I was. Because if you see me loud, I'm a reserved guy. I'm chill like security, and I was in the bar like, here we go, like
You know what's funny?
Hyped.
You would think I drink during these games. And they can attest to it in there. I don't take a sip because and somebody offered it. I was like, no, I can't. You know, as much as I would love to.
But Jesse was like, we are live. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, y'all was walking through the camera.
He said, we are live right now. Jesus Christ. I was cracking the fuck.
Until I had me say,
I
I'm
was
sorry,
like,
I didn't
yo,
walk. I
man.
said, you good, man. You good. It was we
Yeah,
won.
I came
It
when you was
fun.
like, yo, nice jacket. I came on, took the jacket off, held the jacket up. And you was like, you know, we on the show right now, bro. I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that. My bad. I'm all stooped back down like, I love it here.
It was a vibe, man. It was a vibe. That's why I want to see him again.
Yeah, I
It
was
was a vibe.
going, man. That was funny shit, man. I won't even front.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Real question here. Ron dropped one and said, ask Akoye, don't you like more zone versus Josh Allen because it makes him read more and scramble lanes are harder?
I do, but you have to be a zone team. And if you notice how we play zone, we're very porous, you know, with our zones. So you have to practice playing zone. You have to be one of those teams that have a lot of zone type of players. I think when Diggs is here, we're better at it because both him and Bland are, you know, they're vision players. Not that Gilly isn't, but
Right.
I like Gilly better in man, and I like Bland a little better in man as well. So that forces us to play. And then you also know J-Lu is better in man than he is in zone. So we don't have the guys that sit back and like to play, you know, that cover 2 style corner. So it's harder for us to do it. And then
I
in
go
the middle
safeties,
of the
Akoye too. I don't think we have the safeties for. I think we got you know, box type safeties, and then you got Malik Hooker.
yeah.
Except
Yeah,
Wanye,
exactly.
but they won't put Wanye out.
Wanye can
Yeah,
do it.
they won't
Yeah,
put him out
Wanye is
there.
a guy that'll bait you and jump some stuff, but we don't have a lot of those type of guys. But KC does, so it's a lot easier for him to pull it off.
Yeah.
I think we'll mix it in creatively, but we have to pick our spots because if we sit back there and give him the type of windows that we were giving Hurts in zone, he's going to hurt us. So yeah, we like to play zone, but I don't think we should ever, you know, stick to that for an entire game.
Brother L, save that question for tomorrow. We're gonna break down the Bills' defense. He's talking about their secondary and whatnot. We'll get it. Definitely save that question. But he said, you know, which wide receiver will have a more efficient game based off their defense. But the second one, though, he said, where'd you get that 2000s R&B jacket you had on Sunday night?
Shout out to These Pink Lips. She's a fashion designer out of Philadelphia. I paid her. That's a one of one.
Hell of a name.
Yeah, her name is These Pink Lips. She Iris, But she's a fashion designer here out of Philly. Pretty big too. Like Cardi B, all of them, they wear her stuff. But I saw her do a jacket for a friend of mine. I said, "Who did that jacket? Custom?" And he's like, "These pink lips." I was like, "Oh, I got to get one of those." So I paid her to make me a custom cowboy Akoye jacket. So there is no other. There is no other. That's a one of one.
Before I get to another question, I keep seeing this pop up. Did you hear what Cam Newton said the other day? We don't got to go on it long, but
I didn't.
Yeah,
well,
so
specifically, what
he mentioned a bunch of game managers. He threw out Brock Purdy, threw out Jared Goff, and then he said, and even if you want to keep it a bean, Dak Prescott. And I mean, to me, that's just ridiculous. Dak is not a game manager.
At this point, it's crazy.
Yeah, but you think it's ridiculous as well, right?
I know it's ridiculous. I said that Dak under center and asking Dak to not put things on his shoulder early in the season. I thought that was the answer due to the fact that he threw interceptions last year, and I knew they were like trying to figure out a way. Under Kellen, I think that's probably the better way to try to use him because of the way they were running their offense. But the way Dak's been playing this season, to even equate him to a game manager is ridiculous. Like, that's crazy. Like, no, that's not what you can't say you see that on film if you're watching the film. You can't say that.
I mean, we ain't got to answer this question because we literally did a whole show on it. But Chunky Keys, appreciate you, big dog, but my guy. So Chunky Keys said, hashtag ask Akoye. He said, yo, after looking at how our offense and defense played against the She-Eagles this past weekend, going into the Bills game, what can the team do in order to contain Josh Allen and Diggs? Akoye, you don't have to answer this question. You know why? Because we just did a whole show on it, Chunky Keys.
Chunky was drinking early too.
Chunky was out there drinking. Hey, Chunky, hashtag run this thing back, brother.
Yeah, running back.
Run it back, my guy.
That's all we talked about. And I showed diagrams for like an hour.
Chunky said, a whole hour and a half show. Hey, dog, what we got to do to contain Josh Allen? He just did the whole show, Chunky.
He want to do sleep in class and shit. Wake up and start asking the questions that he ain't read the book.
Oh, that's funny. That I ain't gonna lie to you. That was definitely me. It's how it's summer.
Man,
they give
that
you
was
the book
me.
to read. October Sky, right? I said I'm gonna go watch the movie.
I would wing
watch
everything.
the movie.
Yep.
Come back and I'm like, wow, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't say this.
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal didn't say that.
All right, man.
I was that guy too, man. I can get C's and C's and B minuses without studying at all, so I never really bothered. So people are like, my teachers would always tell me, if you apply yourself, you're an A student, you're a genius. But I get C's without doing shit, so I never really cared, man.
Yeah, high school was easy to me.
Yeah, like nothing. Yeah,
college was more challenging because of the distractions.
Exactly.
Boy, they don't tell you about that in school, bro.
I was wild.
You're gonna be distracted when you get to school.
I was like half street, half nerd in college. So I was a wild
All I
boy.
wanted to do was my major. All I cared about was broadcast and journalism. And
you
what
like electives.
I cared about.
Electives.
Science.
Prerequisites.
I don't give a goddamn about no Pluto.
I did take Chinese though. I paid attention in that class.
Oh,
I like it because I wanted to take Japanese. Yeah.
Story time, real quick on that.
Yeah.
So I took American history. I think it was my sophomore year, right?
Right.
Took American history, and I get to the class, and I mean, look, I have nothing. Obviously, I'm not discriminating or anything, but the teacher that was teaching it was an Asian lady that could barely speak English.
She looking like a man.
I immediately said, I'm out of here, dog. I'm not. What are we doing? I can barely understand what she said. Teaching American history? This makes no sense. So I went and took African American studies, and boy, they had a white man with the black.
A white guy with a dashiki.
Yo, he was
African American studies.
Was Dr. PhD, MD, Umar, and you know what I mean? I was like, oh, I love this. There we go, baby. Here we go. I dropped that American history class so damn fast. What are we doing? Anyway, come on. You can't have it. Anyway, man. Anyway, let's get back to the.
Yes, you can. Apparently, you know what I mean.
But come on.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I don't care if they Asian, but at least be able to speak. I couldn't understand her. I had to get out of there.
Don't take math with an Indian teacher either, because they can't speak English either.
But see. Never mind.
They teach you math though. Your math game be on point if you get what's going on. They got all the shortcuts and shit.
That's what I'm
saying. That's why y'all make so much goddamn money. Y'all got the shortcuts. Anything Asian, whether it's Hindu or Chinese, they make money But
Yeah.
it's hard. You're a hard far cry understanding what's going on, man.
I don't even know where to go anymore after this one.
Is that racist? I don't think that's racist.
I don't think it is. I think
don't
it's
think
real.
it's racist. It's
Brother L
cultural.
said brand management.
Right.
I promise y'all, this is just an energy drink in here.
Hashtag PR.
Professor O said, Sky said, I need subtitles. I did, bro. When I tell you, I think I might have took two. I went to 2 classes because the first one I was like, it was just the intro.
Out of here, man.
You know, here's your syllabus and whatnot, and I was like, is we being trolled? I looked at my man Chuck C. I said, is we being trolled? The substitute came in the second day. And I did one of the LeBron James. All right, man, I'm getting up out of here. I left. I said,
how long you been here, bro? He's like, I just got here. You're teaching American history.
Man, college was nothing but a
Just got
distraction.
over here, man. Yeah.
All right, no more questions, man, because all we're gonna do is get in trouble, bro.
Yeah, we are.
Fun show. Fun show as always. Educational show for myself as well. You know, when Akoye break down this film, man, I learn. You know, and that's all I try to do is sit back there and learn.
Yeah.
If you don't know where to find Akoye, you can see it right there. But you know, he's everywhere. And I think it was Professor Oda asked about a boxing question. He does a whole bunch of boxing breakdowns as well. But please let him know where to find all your content, man.
Well, since we spoke on boxing, YSM Sports Media, just type in YSM Sports Media with Akoye behind it in the search bar. You'll find all of my content on that channel. Also, Akoye Media on YouTube, Twitter, IG, TikTok. Check me out. You know I'm there. And yeah, man, it's been fun. I will say I had been for the last couple months way more peaceful on Twitter until Eagles rivalry week, and then I said, man, I went for blood. I chose violence this last week, so
You did.
I went at it with the whole community
Hold
by
on.
myself.
You need to take a bow, sir, because they was coming at your neck.
Oh, so hard. Yeah, it's crazy,
week.
man.
And
I
you
like
did nothing but told the truth, Akoye.
And then when it happened, they quiet now. But it feels so
saying
good in
nothing,
Philly right now, man. Now, when I say quiet, I mean quiet. Don't nobody want to see me right now because they know I've been saying it when it was like dangerous to say, like when you almost get hit in the face to say that hurts, can't read the field. And now it's like, he was right. You know, they don't want it to be right, but
it's
it is
on
what it is,
film,
man.
fam.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they'd be like, well, Hurts had 100 in the pocket. Y'all not listening.
If
I get
one
a quick
read or
slant,
slant, that counts. Even Josh, what's his name? Purdy is getting. Is his name Josh? Brock Purdy.
Brock.
I'm thinking about Josh
Allen.
Yeah, Brock Purdy gets away with that too. Like when you look at the game he had, when they're like, "Oh, he is playing like an MVP." After the Eagles game, look at the routes that he was throwing. He threw to Debo on like smoke screens, slants, and little short stuff, and Debo just went crazy. So that accounts for the almost perfect rating and the 300 yards. You know what I mean? But he's not. The ball's not traveling through the air. He's not looking guys off to get those guys open. He's just getting the ball to his playmakers fast, and they're making those plays. And that's the same thing Hurts was doing with AJ. AJ did the same thing he did in the San Fran game where he pushed Slay off of him. Not Slay, but he pushed Ward off of him and caught a slant and ran up the field for like 23 yards or more, something like that. But he killing it. AJ did. He did the same thing, that same play to Gilly, but Gilly stripped him on that same play. It was the same exact play, same setup. Would have been a big play, but shout out to Gilly for fighting through the contact and getting back on him and stripping that ball, man. So, he got the ball into his playmakers' hands. They just couldn't make the plays because we were hitting them. Same thing on that 3rd and 19. Remember, Devontae Smith catches a ball, makes some guys miss, and gets those 19 yards in that San Fran game. He tried it against Gilly. Gilly came down and smacked him. So we were just tackling the football a lot better. And when you see that happen, the quarterback is naturally going to be limited if he's relying on his wide receiver talent solely to make plays.
At this current moment, and again, I don't care. He's an Eagle, so I don't care if y'all want to get mad.
Mm-hmm.
At this current moment, from what I've seen, his 4 years in the league, and again, he's 4 years, so he's still got time to develop. I don't even think he could run San Fran's offense. No. I'm not. Look, I know you probably like, whoa, just throw it to Debo and get going. I like Brock. I'm not saying Brock is out there having to do a whole bunch of stuff, but Brock has to make layered throws. Brock Brock has to wait for guys to kind of break open in that third level, that third seam, or wait for a route to develop and then boom, I hit it. He's made some really fantastic throws from the pocket. Not necessarily so much scan, but kind of more the patience and just the anticipation.
Yeah.
I don't see that from Jalen, number one. Number two, he damn sure wouldn't be able to run the Cowboys offense. No way, no how. So when Eagle fans get mad, I just say, and like you just say, pop the film on and tell me, where is he consistently doing these things? Line of scrimmage, getting guys going, looking a guy off, making layered throws. It's not tailored that way. And until maybe they get a new OC, until maybe they get different coaching.
See, and that's the problem though, because I said this to my brother yesterday because he's an Eagles fan. He's like, "Oh man, it's Johnson, it's the OC." I said, "Well, you coach. He coaches football, and I coach boxing." I said, "Bro, you coach. You a quarterback at that. Pretty good one from Ben Salem, right?" I'm like, "Bro, you know that if you have a quarterback that can't run certain concepts, what's the point in putting that in the playbook if he can't do it?" See what I'm saying? So the coordinator looks bad because he couldn't call these types of plays and these types of schemes if he can't get the simple stuff. What makes you think he's going to get those intricate concepts? You know what I mean? There's a reason they're running a vanilla offense with him. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like if you have a guy, if I can take a guy who's a slugger and tell him to box like Ali all I want. He can't do it. So why would I come out with a game plan for that? I have to come out with a game plan that's tailored to who I have. Right. And that's the way Hurts plays. So you can't ask him. You can't say a coordinator is not going to get him where he needs to be. No different than Scott Linehan was going to get Dak to where he needed to be. Hurts is going to have to take it upon himself, just like Dak did, to learn the game the right way and learn not only to get his footwork together, because his footwork is not there, but also to get comfortable with his clock, because he's running out of perfectly good pockets to try to make plays on the edge because that's where he's used to making plays. So he'll escape a pocket that's not collapsing just to get to the edge to try to turn it into a scramble drill. And if I called a play, if I called, let's say, a cell concept or a flood concept, right? And there are timing concept, either or, mesh rail, anything you choose, any different concept you choose, it doesn't matter what I call if the timing is thrown off by my own quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what I call it. It's going to become a scramble drill anyway. So why wouldn't I just run all goes and then just say, all right, when you get out of the pocket, guys, come back to the ball like they're doing. Come back to the ball when he escapes the pocket and let's make something happen. But whatever I call on the first end of it, he's not going to go through those progressions anyway. So it doesn't matter what I call.
Nothing but facts, man. And you know the Eagle fans right now.
Work all day, get 30 bags together for you ungrateful sons of and all I can hear is criticize. From now on, don't ask me or mine for nothing.
They already turned it on. Hey, just keep it to me, man. That'll do it for today's show. Absolutely fantastic one. Bills coverage. If you missed it, we talked about the Bills offense. Tomorrow, we're talking about the Cowboys offense going against the Bills defense and see if this offense can keep up the heat. And I think they can. I personally think they can. We'll see what the elements is like. Right now, it's looking like 40-something degrees, light wind. And if you're from that area, 10 miles per hour ain't shit. But light wind, cold, don't get me wrong. But if that weather could hold up.
Yeah, we might be all right.
Here we go. Yeah. It's a wrap, man.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I push it, man. I push it. Got in. All right, Cowboys Nation. Make sure y'all tune in later. Vosh Lombardi Live. We'll be back covering the Bills. We're going to do this again. Mo will be on later. A to Z Sports Prime Time. And make sure I check out my brother from another Akoye Media on all platforms, man. The guru. What's your catchphrase? Prove it with the film.
Prove it with the film, man.
That's all we do.
That's
Get
it.
out of here. Love y'all.